Hello everyone and welcome to our first episode of the Road to Zelda Switch. If you remember my coverage of Breath of the Wild, or as it was first known, Zelda Wii U, you remember the weekly videos I would make gathering all of the news about the upcoming Zelda game, collecting interviews, leaks, rumors, announcements, and more, and sharing it in a concise video. Well, we are doing the same thing again, as we begin our road to Zelda Switch. If you come across any rumors, leaks, news, or anything, please comment it below. You can also follow me on Twitter or join our Discord to let us know about the news. If we use it on a future video, we will give you a shout out for providing the news to us. Starting off today, we have something simple and kind of obvious, but if you read between the lines, there's a lot more than you would think. Coming from a job listing by Nintendo, brought to Reset Era by Guru, and shared by Go Nintendo. Nintendo's listing is in Japanese, but Guru on Reset Era has the key notes. He says, "Not sure if this is thread-worthy, since there isn't too much to glean from the job postings themselves. Feel free to look if necessary. But Nintendo just posted some new Zelda-related job postings, which I guess confirms that they have started to work on the new Zelda game. The postings are in Japanese at the link. The first job posting is for a 3D CG designer. They specify that it is for terrain and topography production for stuff such as the field and dungeons. Requirements: experience making backgrounds in Maya and Adobe Photoshop, experience working on HD hardware, and Japanese fluency. Other skills that will help your application: experience making backgrounds, specifically for an action game, experience making concept art, experience making assets in Substance Painter and Substance Designer, interest in Zelda, and leadership experience. The second posting is for a level designer. They are looking for someone to plan game events, the field, dungeons, as well as enemies. Requirements: experience working as a game planner for consumer games, and Japanese fluency. That's all the info, not much to go on, but I'm sure some of you are as thirsty as me for any hints on the next Zelda game. By the way, Substance Painter and Substance Designer is used for the development for a lot of AAA games. I'm assuming they used it for Breath of the Wild. Now, coming back to my thoughts, why is this important? Nintendo already told us they had started work on the next Zelda game. So isn't this an obvious thing, hiring developers to work on a Zelda game? And yes, typically, they don't really have to tell us that they began work on the new Zelda game. Nintendo usually starts work on the next Zelda game as the previous one is finishing development. So around the time they're getting ready for Breath of the Wild's release, some of them are already doing pre-production on whatever the next game's going to be. They'll take assets, ideas, dungeons, bosses, or anything that was created for the previous game that went unused. Maybe it's a concept or idea that was great, but didn't necessarily fit with the game that they were making at that time, and they'll make use of it in the next game. So going back, why is this important? Well, we get a few hints here. If you remember, on Breath of the Wild, Nintendo had their home console Zelda team. Rumors suggested they brought on some of their handheld Zelda team as well. And they announced a large portion of the team that worked on Xenoblade also worked on Breath of the Wild. Nintendo has stated that most of the delays and time spent on the game was trying to perfect the physics engine. Now that it is complete for Breath of the Wild, they shouldn't need to spend a lot of time on it with the next game. They can just use the engine they already perfected, which would cut down on a lot of development time. Time they can spend creating a new world, enemies, dungeons, and more. From Nintendo's own words, they are looking for someone to help on these things. The field, or as we know it, the Overworld, which may be Hyrule, but it could be a different location. Nintendo almost never uses Hyrule on a sequel to a game that already featured Hyrule. A Link to the Past sequel, Link's Awakening, ventured far away from Hyrule. The same goes for Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, and of course we have Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So if this game is a sequel, it will most likely feature a new land. If it is Hyrule, I'd be curious on if they would reuse the Hyrule from Breath of the Wild. Perhaps they could just build onto it and make it even larger, featuring new areas, and with all of the villages restored. This is just wishful thinking from me though. The other important thing is that it mentions dungeons. People who are applying need to be great with dungeon development. Hopefully this means we will get traditional dungeons back. Finally, enemies. Although it may be obvious that they would bring in new enemies, this was sort of a complaint from fans of Breath of the Wild. The lack of variety when it comes to the enemies. Hopefully, we will see the same enemies as before, but have new enemies like Darknuts, Dodongos, and other classic enemies return. This is about all I have for now, but remember there was a lot of news about Aonuma wanting to make the next big Zelda game multiplayer, and the president of Nintendo saying he wants to put a focus on online games, which hints that yes, the next Zelda game may be multiplayer in some way. I'll have the video where we discuss that in the comments and the description below. I'll also have a card for it appear at the top right now. So please, let us know your thoughts on this, and I'll be in the comments below reading everything you have to say. I'll give your comment a like and a heart if I read it, and I'll try my best to reply to most of the comments. So please, give this video a like, subscribe, and give your thoughts below. Thank you for watching this video, and to start, just let us know if you know of any news on the next Zelda game. Remember, you'll get a shout out. If you don't have any news, just comment and let us know what you would like to see in the next Zelda game.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like, and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.